Good. Did a good weekend? Oh, yeah. It's very good.
Prayer today. Father, thank you for fresh grace and a week full of promise. Lead me in your ways and fill my heart with your love and joy. Help me to see others as you see them. Father, I ask that you guide every decision, response, effort, and conversation I have. All for your glory. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
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 Okay. First item of the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute the minutes for the meeting of August 3rd, 2021.
Make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes. Number two, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute the minutes for the meeting August 10th, 2021.
So make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes. Jerry?
On September 13th, for the Department on Aging, I approved hiring Sherry Palumbo to the position of full-time rec and ed assistant to be effective September 20th, 2021 at the rate of $14.83 per hour with a one-year probationary period. This offer of employment is contingent upon the successful completion of the required pre-employment conditions.
Thank you. Adrian?
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, today's financials include an appropriations transfer from the Commissioner's contingency account to municipal court, criminal prosecution, to pay for an increase in indigent defendants requiring representation. And among the vouchers are $60,228.55 from the Commissioner's office to then design architecture for services related to the new county office building, $68,662.50 from the engineer's office to Eclipse Company LLC for pay request number 2 on the asphalt resurfacing of Washington Street, sections F through J, and $14,000 from maintenance department to Michael J. Bardzakakis for concrete work at the maintenance barn.
All right.
Any questions? Are you guys good?
Yeah, we're good.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
These next two items are both for today.
Okay.
Good morning.
Hey, how are you, Nick?
Good, good. Items 5 and 6 are basically the same thing for the same project, but it's the engineer's office requesting the board approve and authorize Commissioner Lennon to execute Ohio Public Works Commission Appendix E disbursement request certifications number 1 and 2 to release the state portion of the OPWC grant for the Auburn Bell resurfacing projects. Disbursement 1 was in the amount of $267,804.65. Disbursement 2 is in the amount of $132,195.35. The board already signed the final change order on this on August 24th, so this is just releasing their portion. We paid our part.
So, Nick, are you, this is a different.
Nope,
Yeah.
it's just him.
Just
Right.
him.
Oh, yeah,
It's just
him.
sorry. Are you involved in the East Washington project with Eclipse?
We're all involved in it.
Yeah, okay.
so-
I was just curious, so I know there's been, some comments or, about them being behind schedule, or do you know anything about that? Are they
There is
back on
work
track?
going on.
Yeah.
Are they, so the project is moving forward. There's
Okay.
a contractor working the project along, and this is what I try to explain to everybody, is
Yeah.
that the length of the project makes it seem, so if you live on the west end of the job, you may not see any work because they're all on the east end of the job.
Okay.
So all the activities, so if you don't go certain ways, because, like Munn Road, depending on where you are, we're in relation to Munn, if you're gonna go to 422, you're either gonna go east or you're gonna go west.
Yep.
And so depending on where you're at, it doesn't seem like a lot of work is going on.
Uh-huh.
There is activity, there's asphalt going down, and then soon you'll see pretty much all the work that we needed to do on the north side of the project is complete.
Okay.
So they're gonna drop some asphalt hopefully this week, and then they'll shift over to the other side.
Okay, so they're on
They're
track.
moving along.
Okay.
Has it progressed as fast as we would have, no.
Okay.
There been some delays due to materials, has there been maybe not enough staffing? I mean, there's a lot, I can throw a lot of things out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
You
So
know.
I noticed we made a payment just, recently.
Right, small,
Yeah.
for some pipe work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in the event that they, I guess, their bond and everything, but, you know, but you're comfortable with the progression at this point?
They are moving forward.
Okay.
You know, like
Okay.
I said, it could be,
I mean, I had to ask.
it could be faster,
Yeah.
you know, from that standpoint, they could be further along.
Yep.
They do have a contract, they do have a bond, you know, so they have to comply with that. And
Yeah.
their, how they progress will be noted in their contractor evaluation at the end of the year, which
Gotcha.
would be used in future bids, you know, when we look at and make a recommendation for a contractor,
Gotcha.
you know, based on what we're allowed or can do with the ORC or what our allowances, you know, we can hold them to. Our evaluations have become more important, and we've gotten better at how we're writing these things. So when it comes down, if I chose to say, hey, I'm gonna go with number 2 instead of number 1,
Mm-hmm.
I can't just say it just because I want to.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
the support now with
Yep.
this contract
Yep.
evaluations.
It's about that, documented and backed up. And so, what, is there a completion date or a deadline that you guys have in place for that? or-
They had 150 days to complete the project from commencement.
Okay.
I apologize, I don't have that date.
Okay.
You know, I can get that for you.
Got
I
it.
have
No, I
to
was
share
just-
that with
So
you.
with winter coming, will they continue on, or will they,
Our hopes that they'll be done.
they'll be completely done? They'll be
Yes,
done?
That's,
Okay.
that, I would,
Okay.
you know, hope that it will be done, built and spec, you know.
Okay.
This year. I'm not looking at it going into it, absolutely not looking forward to it,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
So the whole project, I thought it went in phases, like you started at the east end.
Started at the west, we started at the west, the intent was to start over by Bainbridge Road
Okay,
and work, they did the northbound, west to east. And it did all that work on that side, had the lane and all the traffic running, one lane running eastbound. Then they're gonna shift to the south side of the roadway, do the same thing, they were gonna work west to east. Some of that has modified based on where they are and the type of work, so the curb and concrete and basins, they've been focusing a lot of their efforts down right in the business area and in Auburn Corners, they're right in the center of town there, so they kind of did a little bit of that. We do have a contractor working on the west end who's doing the asphalt repairs, they're working on that today, so, you know, so there's a lot of activity that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't, but it's not phase, and when we say phase, we look at it as phase, but it's not like they're gonna do Munn to, you know, Wing. They're gonna do that whole section, and then they were gonna do Wing to Messenger, then Messenger, you know, complete. Phasing is just the method of what they were working on.
They're still within that allowable time frame that you guys,
Their current is within that allowable,
okay,
you know,
Okay.
right now.
okay, very good.
Will it go a little bit longer? I expect it to go a little bit longer, but.
Yeah,
so
okay.
will the whole project from 306 to 44 be complete before the end of the year?
It's not 306. The project starts at Bainbridge and Washington. So right at Auburn, what's called, what people know it as Auburn Point, by
Okay.
the greenhouse there.
Mhm.
So the project starts basically just east of that intersection, that Y intersection, and goes to 44.
So will that be, I know there's.
That's the project.
That's the
That's
project.
this one.
That's this current project.
That's
We
this
have
one.
others coming down, you know, on Washington Street that are coming, that are in the planning.
Okay.
So the
I
point
think
part,
that's where you're thinking.
The phase.
Yeah.
the point part, are they gonna do that now, to square that off and make that?
That is still in the design and planning
Oh,
phases.
that's a separate deal?
That's a separate
Okay.
project, so
Okay.
that would be the next piece, and then there's a section from Bainbridge to 306,
Okay.
and then we have we have a plan to do sections A through C, A through B, resurfacing, which is from the Sugar Falls line or South Russell Village to, you know, so each one, because the roads are so long, they are phased that way.
Mhm.
We just don't have, you know, this project in question is from Bainbridge to 44.
Gotcha, perfect, okay, thank you, appreciate it.
I'll get you that schedule.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Yeah,
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
yes,
Commissioner DeWart.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right.
Good morning, Colonel.
Hi, Carmel.
Hey, how are ya?
Good.
All right, so this is 7, 8, 9. They're all pertaining to the 2020 agriculture easement purchase program for the state, the Davis property. The first item is to amend the agreement to extend it. The contract's only for a year to year, so they are extending the contract so we can finish up the purchase on this. We should close before the end of the year. Some of the other documents will show that. So that's the
Good.
first item. Can we go through all of them, or, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
The second one is the assignment, or the escrow agreement. This is just the escrow agreement for closing on the property. The owners have signed, the title agent has signed, so the commissioners should sign on that. It has the escrow fees estimated in it in the closing period until the end of the year. And then the last item is the assignment of payment form, and that's to have, we usually have Jerry represent the commissioners so that when we do the closing, he can be at the closing meeting to sign everything.
Okay.
And assign the payment over to the escrow, title company for the escrow, and then disperse the funds to the owner.
Is this in Burton Township?
It's in Burton Town, Rapids Road.
Okay.
Rapids Road, used to be Rapids Horse Farm, Rapids Run Farm, but it's a horse farm.
Great.
I'll make that motion.
47 acres.
All three.
Okay.
Second?
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWark?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Can
Thank
say
you.
that to
Sign.
Jerry?
So he can-
Yes, I can.
And then you have to sign those things.
Is it?
Last one's for 3 years with the state.
Oh,
Yes.
goodness.
Thank you.
The next item was for community development. This is their funding 2019 grant program, or program year, which actually runs to that.
Mhm.
Sorry.
There's three actually, Jerry.
Yeah, sorry. One more.
There's only 2 stickers.
No. She swapped things out on me today.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Okay.
Don't do that.
But anyway, this is for community economic development with their 2019 grant period. They had, they had money available from their,
Yep.
the CDC, I'm sorry, the DDC, sorry.
The clinic.
I hate to say this, those other 3 letters at this point in time. But the clinic project and an increase in the cost at the Women's Safe project. So this is
The decrease.
decreasing DDC clinic and increasing the Women's Safe.
Okay, okay. Very good. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWark?
Yes.
And I'm covering the water resources project too, because Steve got put down to McFarland this morning for some
Okay.
issues. This is Dana Cavallero, the next 3 items. Dana Cavallero, who is the laboratory supervisor, has obtained another job. She has agreed, however, until we can find a new lab supervisor, to work part-time as the lab supervisor. So what we're looking to do is get approval to amend the organizational chart with water resources to add a part-time supervisor position and then move her into that part-time supervisor position and advertise for a full-time supervisor.
Is there any special requirements for that position?
There's some lab certifications that they have to have through the EPA,
Oh, okay.
but that is something they can actually obtain after they become
Oh, good.
supervisors. So,
Okay, yeah.
At this point, there's one individual at the lab who may, who is qualified to do the supervisor position. I'm not sure that employee wants to be a supervisor though, so
Okay,
we may take a while to
okay.
to get that.
Very good.
One other thing with the organizational chart too, they're taking the opportunity to move one of the maintenance workers from the garage to McFarland.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't put them permanently in McFarland, they can always be pulled to go do other work within the system.
Okay,
So just on that chart.
good. It sounds like a good opportunity for somebody, right?
Yes.
So I'll make that motion on both.
All three?
All three?
Or all three, actually,
Yeah,
yep.
11, 12, 13, second?
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWark?
Yes.
Good.
So, I thought Prosecutor Flays was gonna be here to be part of this discussion, but we did get a proposal from McTeague Law Firm for the Board of Elections outside counsel. It is the same firm that the Board of Elections had in their resolution request. What we did get though, going out for that is the the law firm did agree to, or did put in their proposal, limiting their fee to $5,000. And at a $50 an hour lower rate than what they would have charged if we had just agreed to it to begin with.
Did anybody else
I
apply?
did not receive any other proposals.
No other proposals?
No, there was, I said 6.
Mhm. And nobody replied to this?
Nope, and the last one I got was actually from McTeague in Colombo, and it came in at, the last day, at like 9:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And then he sends a hard copy in the
And what's the hourly rate?
$250 an hour.
Which is similar to the rates we have from other outside councils for.
Okay, and it's capped at 5,000?
Yeah, they have agreed to cap at 5,000 for, if it's just discussions with the board,
Mhm.
with board elections. I think they have, what was that, $25,000 cap if it went to court?
It says, the firm's usual hourly rates range from $250 to $375 and $450 to $600 for partners. But they are providing services at $250 an hour for all attorneys that work on the matter, and set a cap of $5,000 and seeking to resolve the matter without litigation. Should litigation be necessary, they would provide the services at the same $250 an hour per rate, and would set a cap of $25,000 plus reasonable and necessary expenses for litigation.
Okay. And this is, just to be clear again, the purpose, I don't think, that was what I've still been waiting for, a little more clarification as to what the purpose of this is for. Are they suing the county? Are they just looking for advice or guidance? Or, like I have not heard that.
Based on what their resolution said that they passed, it was, I believe it was, they said something along the lines of.
The application says regarding issues related to the proposed office space to be provided at the Board of Elections in the new county office building.
Mhm. That's
So
really
they were-
overly
they were-
broad.
Yeah, that was a broad description.
And to be fair, our prosecutor's office could do exactly what that request says, with no conflict.
There is,
There is a conflict.
I mean, if they were suing us, I'd say maybe, but that doesn't say they're suing us.
Mm-mm.
but if they're providing advice that's going against what another client,
Mhm.
which would be the board, which would be this board, is, then there is a conflict that arises.
Okay. Okay. Well, hopefully somebody will give them good advice on, this will, hopefully they'll find what they're looking for here. I don't know, I don't know exactly what, because we've jumped through every hoop and hurdle that they've put in front of us to try to accommodate every want and need that they could possibly come up with. As we were solving one, they were coming up with another, so, I'm a little confused still as to what the holdup is here, but we are on a schedule. This building is going up. I don't know if anyone's paying attention, but it's happening, so they're a little late to the party here, the 13th hour. And this is, again, I've met with their board members, taken them on tours of it through the space. So basically, we've got a blank canvas for you. Tell us what you want, And I just still don't understand why they're continuing to waste taxpayer dollars with legal fees for what purpose at this point? Because everything we've resolved every issue that they've come up with, and they've come up with some doozies.
And we are moving forward with what our last discussions with them were, because that's what we told them.
Right.
Make that adjustment to moving their conference room and adding the additional
Yep,
toilet
more
facilities
space, and the women's room bigger, and
Yes.
all these things,
So
right?
That is where we're at this point, is moving forward.
So the last,
We've now made, at least, off the top of my head, I can think of at least 3 major adjustments to their space.
Okay.
Over the.
So I
last
just
year.
saw, now I don't know if this is related to it, but Then Design, we just approved another payment for $64,000 this morning, correct?
That was part of Then Design's original contract
Okay,
for
okay.
doing.
Because I want to just,
architecture work during
I want to be real
construction.
clear, you know, obviously there's things that you don't get right, you know, throughout a project and you have to go back and correct, and we've done that, but with this particular department or office, we probably are north of $200,000 monkeying around with 3 different sets of changes
Right.
over the last 2 years. Would you say that's probably fair?
I'd say we're close to that, yes.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
if you add in this additional.
And that doesn't
this-
include the
this most
hard
recent
costs,
change.
the hard costs of materials that now we're having to change that, right?
Some of it does.
Okay.
Yeah, but it just, so,
Yeah.
we've
So-
relocated their offices.
So just
and-
throw another log on the fire with legal costs is what we're doing, yeah. Can you see where I'm getting so frustrated?
I completely,
Yeah.
I'm right there with you.
I know. I mean, I hope the public is paying attention to what is happening here. Again, if this is not political, I don't know what it is. You know,
Yeah.
because, again, we have said we will give you 110% of our support, and they've still thrown their hand up in our face with
We've had,
this.
we've had meetings with them where
Yeah,
it appeared that they were 100% okay
Yeah.
with everything
yeah, yeah.
and turn around.
Now, I don't know if it's rumor or if it's reality, but I've heard that a certain board member or the board is out searching around, looking for square footage around Geauga County, or looking to see if they can propose building their own space, but at the end of the day, it comes back to the commissioners. This is under our authority. I mean, if they don't like that decision, that's what the higher advice code says, correct? I mean,
To my
this is-
understanding, the way the law is the commissioners get to decide their space, and basically the only thing that the Board of Elections can argue
Yeah.
is if the commissioners don't provide them space where they can run an
An
election.
adequate space.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
And
you
and
know,
I would,
that's to keep, that's more to keep the commissioners from saying, here's 100 square feet.
right,
Go
right.
do your.
You could do it on the parking lot
Yeah.
or something, yeah. I would rival to take any tour across the state of Ohio and say that, and challenge anybody to say that what we're getting ready to provide them, especially what they're currently in, is, basically they've been working out of some glorified closet space, and, down here is really what it is.
Yeah.
And, and they've kind of bled into our maintenance department as these new equipment showing up. I mean, this is not the answer, and if they want to stay here or not, but that's not an option. We're not going to continue to operate out of this facility. At some point, we are cutting loose here, and we're out of here, right?
Correct.
And the game plan is next year, 2022, correct?
Correct, for the offices,
Yeah.
and then the Board of Elections, another concession we've given to the Board of Elections is they do not want to move between primary and the general election.
Which
So we've agreed to.
I can
and we
understand
made-
that.
That's another adjustment we have made, because
Mhm.
the initial plan was to pull all of the IT equipment out of this complex when we moved.
Yeah.
Now this IT will need to stay here in this complex until December of next year or January of the following year when
Mhm.
they're able to move.
And that's another expense.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I met with them, with Jerry, and then they changed everything, and then we changed it again, and so this is 2 or 3 times, and it's disappointing
mhm.
and upsetting that they want legal advice, so.
I just
And we don't want, I think as commissioners, we don't want to, suppress the voters at all. This is going to be a top-notch building, a facility, and square footage for them, and it's probably better than 3/4 of the voting areas in the state of Ohio per county. And I just wish that LaRose would come up here and we could give him a tour, and he's probably going to say, this is a great facility.
Yeah, yeah.
From what he sees in other parts of Ohio. So it's just disappointing.
So with that being said, again, my feeling on it, the outside legal counsel is still, the request, although we've gotten a quote in here for $250 an hour at $5,000 cap, I don't think they have presented it clear enough to the, not to us, but to the people of this county, what the request is for. You know, I really don't. So again, my vote is no on it until they can be a little more specific as to what their intent is. So,
Today was just to discuss the
Okay,
RFPs. wasn't
okay.
Putting in
Oh, okay,
paperwork
okay.
in front of you to vote
Yeah.
on at this point.
Yeah, I
So,
would hope they
okay,
would
we can try-
communicate with
Now that
us.
we have this, I can go back to them
Yeah.
and say we need more clarification.
I mean, I just don't see an effort, you know, we've made
Many efforts.
we've, as a board, and I think individually, each one of us has reached out to them, trying to understand what the problems are, and it's like whack-a-mole. You know, that's what I feel like. I think I walk away with feeling good, like we're in a good place, and then I hear in the newspaper that they're still continuing wanting to do this, or wanting to do that, or a rumor that they want to go shopping for their own place, or, you know,
Yeah.
so.
Well, I think the perfect example of that is the meeting that I had with them after we had the
Mhm.
walkthrough, and we, had TDA do some new sketches of layouts,
Mhm.
and I met with them, and we went over it, and just, there wasn't any statement from them that they didn't like it, that they thought it was bad, or they needed, something changed.
This wouldn't work at all.
Or any-
Right,
yeah, and then I walk out there, and that's when, right after I left the room, is where they passed that resolution.
Yeah, so the resolution was in somebody's back pocket.
It was already prepared.
Yeah, it was prepared, and so, again, is this like a political game here? You've got some political individuals on this board, I get it, this is maybe the nature of the beast, but I don't understand just how cavalier they are in willingness to waste taxpayer dollars, like on a major level. Not just these legal matter. I mean, this is just, like I said, another log on the fire, but the impact, every time they say, hey, move this wall or put this glass up or do this or that, is unbelievable adjustment. I mean, everybody knows today's construction challenges. You want to move a wall, and talk to the architect. By the time they're done with that, it's like $70,000 just to move a wall.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable, right? Laura?
So today you're just discussing the results of the RFP for representation to the board. You guys aren't going to be signing any application or anything like that. Is there any way you could take action to sign the application if it's in a form acceptable to the board? So if it gets resolved before next session, it's something that the board could act on?
Which board?
You guys?
Their board?
Us.
What the next step would be if you voted in favor of it, would be to sign the application for the board and the prosecutor to go to the common pleas to
Oh, I see.
authorize seeking outside counsel.
It's up to you guys, because like I said, I'm voting no. So, I'm not in favor of this at this point until we're trying to refuse them legal counsel by any means, but again, I think they need to clarify for the purposes of the people in this county what their intent of going out for outside legal counsel and why they can't use our prosecutor's office to do that. I still don't see the clarity. It's just my feeling. I mean, I think at the end of the day, the prosecutor's office can provide them outside counsel, with or without us, I think, right?
Do you want to add to that, Laura?
I don't know if they can or
I mean,
not.
under the ORC, the board has to hire the outside counsel.
Okay.
If it's for, obviously, the prosecutor's office or any of the other offices in the county. And so that's why we're going down this road.
Mm-hmm.
As Jerry indicated, we would have to do a joint application, the prosecutor's office and the commissioners, to hire somebody for the Board of Elections. I drafted an application, and Christie has a copy of it right there.
Okay.
So if, again, just to kind of keep things moving, if the issue gets resolved before you guys have session next, and the the application is in a form that is acceptable to you.
Okay,
If the board wants to take action, if it's not in a form that's acceptable to you, then you don't have to do anything. But it's just, so we don't lose another week and we can, try to keep things moving. But
Gotcha.
of course, it's up to you guys.
got you.
So is there, so basically it's just keep it moving, but if it gets resolved, then they don't have to hire an attorney.
Correct.
Okay.
It's because this is just the application with
That's-
outside counsel, we still would have to do a letter of
You
engagement.
still
with-
have to hire somebody.
Yes.
So this is not the actual hiring?
No.
That is
No.
the court giving you permission to hire somebody, but you haven't actually retained somebody.
But it's
That would-
specific in here, it says Meteague and Colombo at a rate of $250 an hour, so it's already picked
Well,
them.
exactly. And again, if you don't want to sign that application, that's okay, but if you just take action
Mhm.
for the board to authorize.
Jim,
you
The
know,
process.
For the board to execute an application, what is in a form acceptable to the board, and obviously approved by the prosecutor's office, then you have that general authority to do it between now and next session
Mhm.
if you have, if we're able to resolve the issues that you have.
Okay.
I think they need to.
Yeah, I know, Jerry, you've requested them, I think, a couple times, correct?
And basically, the answer I
They
get
just keep
back,
getting the same-
answer I get back is what they put in the resolution is what they're looking for.
Yeah,
And
Don't you agree, Laura,
that's the point.
it's very broad?
I mean, the language is broad. Unfortunately, I don't have it in front of me at the moment.
Yeah.
But they do indicate that it has to do with the space that's being provided to them. So,
Mhm.
I mean,
It says the county building, I mean, but, it could be anything, right?
And again, I don't have it in front of me at the moment.
Yeah.
But, again, sometimes while we're trying to work issues out, again, if you guys are comfortable
I'd say we
taking
table.
action
Yeah.
for the board to, sign that, once it's in a form that's acceptable to you, then you already have it, obviously the board's already taken action to execute it.
Mhm.
We just need to work out the details in the meantime. But it's up to you.
I guess the question I would ask or put out to the board is authorizing the first part of that proposal of the outside counsel for determining, for talking to the Board of Elections about what their space requirements are, what their, what the legal requirements are for that, with the cap of 5,000 and not include the litigation part, taking up 25,000. I don't know that this is gonna happen, but kind of, with and I hate to say a wing and a prayer, but a wing and a prayer that they get the outside counsel, and the outside counsel actually provides them the same information that that they've been given over and over again, that
Mhm.
the decision's the commissioners, not theirs.
Mhm.
And maybe they finally come to their senses, but I also don't wanna spend $5,000 of the citizens' money.
Yeah. I
to
mean,
get
here's,
to that point either.
I agree with exactly what you said, but I also believe the onus is on them to explain to, not us as much, but to the public as to why they are getting ready to go out and spend this money. You know what I'm saying? Just so it's on the record. Now, to put something that vague out there, I don't think explains what their intent is. Is it they just want to know some of the legal issues that the state has put on them related to their space, or what is it? They've given me very little confidence in anything they've done so far. Very little.
I completely
Yeah,
understand that.
yeah.
So,
Could we change the cap to $1,000? That's 4 hours of work for this guy.
The application that is in front of you is just for the hourly rate. Once you would have to do your retention with them, if you chose Meteague and Colombo, you could include your cap, like you did with the other outside
Others.
councils we've done, so that it would have to be reviewed before you approve any increase. Since he is capping it at 5,000, I mean, you could do a lesser amount unless provided, approval by the board. But just so you are aware too, when Mr. Flays had the RFP sent out, he did include the language that it was to advise them regarding the proposed space being provided to the Board of Elections by the Board of County Commissioners in the new office complex. That was the first paragraph of the RFP that Jim had me send out.
Wait, say that again?
It says to advise them regarding the proposed space being provided to the Board of Elections by the Board of County Commissioners in a new office complex.
Okay.
Which is in correlation with what was in their resolution. But the application is just at the hourly rate. It does not have anything regarding capital litigation amount, it's just at the higher, to approve outside counsel at $250 per hour rate. And then we would have to obviously receive something else from McTeague and Colbo once that was filed to move forward.
And if you want us to change the application to the language Jim has in the RFP, we could do that. I mean, again, I just don't have a copy in front of me.
The outside counsel application, you have, it says to employ legal counsel to represent Geauga County Board of Elections regarding issues related to the proposed office space to be provided to the Board of Elections in the new Geauga County office.
So it's pretty close.
It's pretty close to what
Yeah.
was in the RFP.
But does that application actually reference fatigue?
Yeah.
Yes, this is,
That would be-
this is
maybe
the
that-
actual,
Maybe that's where we don't reference, because is it possible for the court to just authorize, not to authorize a specific attorney at this time, or just to authorize?
I'll have to look
outside
at the
counsel?
statute. I'll just have to look at the language in the statute. It's possible, I just have to hop on the internet and look at it.
So real quick, the $5,000, where did that come up with, or where did that come from?
it's in the proposal from them.
Oh, it is.
That came from.
This is the same company, this is the
They
same
came up with it?
firm
Yeah, they put that in their proposal.
they had originally brought to you guys, correct?
Yes, as the
And
same.
it was at
$300.
$300 an hour, and he reduced all of the attorneys that would be working on it to $250 an hour with a cap of $5,000. And then it says if they progress to litigation, then he would cap it at $25,000. That was
Oh.
actually in the actual.
Oh, he would. Yeah, like, so
That's-
they're making the decisions for us now, the law firm? Is that how that works?
Well, they're providing you a cap,
Yeah.
I mean, you could make it less.
Yeah.
It's not-
I mean, that's the whole
they're-
thing.
They're
You
just
could make
off,
it
that's
less. They're
their,
just
it's
offering.
kinda, it's a negotiation, I guess. or,
Yeah.
That's their offer.
I get it,
kinda.
I get it.
I mean, the offer of the 5,000 that was not in anything that we sent to
Okay.
them saying it needed to be capped.
Yeah.
Neither cap, actually.
So I guess I'll just make a motion.
Okay.
Are you making a motion to execute the application
Yeah.
for outside counsel, and that is specifically with McTeague and Colombo?
Right.
At the $250 an hour.
I'll vote no.
You need a second?
Make the motion.
I made the motion.
I second it.
Mhm.
Commissioner Spitaler?
No.
Commissioner Lennon?
No.
Commissioner DeWark?
Yes.
Motion failed.
It's okay, yeah.
Motion failed.
So, again, my request would be to clarify a little more specific what the dollars, the intent of this money is gonna be. And I think that would be the third request of that.
Yes.
And, I don't know the legal proceeding, Laura, but I don't know if I know it's a joint application, but I thought I was under the impression that the prosecutor could still apply to the court for outside counsel, correct? Even if we all said no?
I'll have to talk to you about
Yeah,
that.
I might be wrong,
Yeah,
but.
because I know the statute does say it's a joint application.
Mhm.
If there's, and I know what you're talking about, but I'll have
Okay,
to chat with you
okay.
directly about that.
I don't believe, because I think we looked at that for
Others?
previous one, and I don't believe the prosecutor has that authority.
Okay.
What would happen if I'm not, is that the Board of Elections would have to file mandamus action
Correct.
to
Yeah.
order the prosecutor and the commissioners to
Yeah.
get outside counsel.
Yeah, I mean, I think our request is pretty simple, correct? Like, we just want
Be
specifics.
more specific about what you.
And it's not even as much as for our understanding, it's for the public's understanding why you're getting ready to engage in spending money like this.
Amen.
All right? Very
Okay.
good.
Item 15,
That was, item 15 is actually scheduled for 10:30. I don't believe it's a hearing that the board has to oversee, so we had to set up an actual time with the individual.
that's right.
So,
Okay,
that's right.
So I
So I
don't
don't
believe
know if
that
they want to,
they're
do
here
you
yet.
want to recess, or do you want to move into executive session? Because we're going to stay in chambers, so everybody has to leave the room. That's not being part of the hearing. So, do you want to recess until 10:30, Laura, or do you want to move into executive session early? We have about 15 minutes.
We have to wait till 10:30,
Okay.
unfortunately,
So then-
since it's a
Public
hearing.
comment.
You can do public comment, or you can recess, and then we'll reconvene at 10:30.
Let's do public comment, and then we'll go into recess. Is there any public comment? Okay, we're going to recess. Oh, go ahead.
So it was canceled today for the site visit.
Yes.
Do you have a rescheduled date for that?
Jerry?
No, I
At
think
this
we're
time,
done.
Okay, time frame for recess.
So we're going to recess at 10:18, and we will reconvene at 10:30
In here.
in chambers.
Okay.
Good deal.
Check my phone.
So when they reconvene, the public will have to leave chambers.